What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Giving you guys another raw clip, kind of like a vlog slash health audit, kind of what I've been up to. What's my, kind of like physique update. What are my short-term plans? Kind of what's going on. Just kind of another little check-in for you guys. Definitely been super duper hectic lately. If you guys seen my video from last week, I actually did just move. So my entire like little studio PC setup is still not put together. Been working a lot on top of that. So it's really hard to squeeze in time to set up everything at the new house and also the gym and relationships and et cetera, et cetera. So definitely a balancing act, but kind of getting back on track this week. And I've actually been training a lot differently recently. If you guys caught my video last week, I'm kind of discussing like training for running and for distance and stamina, as well as I'm also currently lifting still. And the reason why I'm getting my stamina up is, number one, I hate running and my cardio is not the best it could be. And number two, I am dual purpose. I'm prepping for a DECA event. It's not necessarily similar to like Ironman or any of the like agility stuff, but basically it's like a sprint. It's almost like, imagine like a race for like interval or like HIIT training, but it's like a race style. So there's like certain movements in between and there's sprints and runs, and it's like partner style relay. So I am doing that with one of my buddies, and that is actually going to be tomorrow afternoon, and definitely looking forward to that. But after that event, I still am going to consistently run more, and I'm probably going to start running like 3 times a week, additionally with my steady state cardio. Obviously I'm lifting about 5 to 6 days a week depending on the week and how I feel. I know a lot of people are super duper into like doing 7 days a week full body, or 7 days a week push pull legs and maybe like an accessory day with like cardio or abs or whatever. But just from my own, like, the nuance of being a natural athlete is you find out really quick that overtraining actually is a thing, and sometimes you have to learn that the hard way. At least for me, when I was balancing volume and like CNS fatigue the best is probably when I was lifting like 5 days a week. I was feeling good, looking leaner, and I just ended up like kind of getting stronger over time. So that is just something that I'm trying to like obviously think about, is my weekly volume, my weekly load, especially when I'm trying to get stronger here. But I'm in this weird kind of situation where I'm not looking terrible. I'm not like fat. I'm not super lean. I'm like good shooting distance from being like relatively, I'm not going to say like stage ready, but like what someone would consider like summer ready, like, kind of in shooting range, but still probably have like 10 to 15 to lose realistically if I really want to be like peeled. But I have these other aspirations to obviously continue to like get stronger in the gym. So it's a very interesting balance that I'm trying to like achieve, while also throwing in like distance running, or I'm not going to say like distance, like marathon running, but at least getting my mile time, like I want to be in the 5 minutes. So like sub 6. When I did actually start, training for distance, it was a rude awakening, like insane. My mile time was really bad. It was like high 8 minutes. By like the second week, I was already cracking like sub 7. By the third week, I was like already touching like almost 6. Now I'm touching like 6:55. So now I'm sub 7. I want to get sub 6, but it's probably going to take me another week or two. We'll see. Obviously, weight's a factor. Right now, I'm sitting at like, I did gain like 2 pounds. So I'm sitting at like 198-ish, 190. Like, I kind of fluctuate up and down a pound. I'm not tracking my macros at all right now. I'm completely eyeballing everything, and I'm kind of just like feeding my body when I'm hungry, considering I'm trying to like gear up for this competition this week. So kind of been off the tracking, which it's good to take a little break from it and kind of just like reset and realign, and kind of like eating more intuitively how your body feels. I find sometimes that works really good, especially like with your own like biological clock. I don't know, maybe it's something like psychological about it, but I always feel like a tad better. And obviously, I'm not making like stupid decisions because my eye is pretty well dialed. I've been tracking my food for so long during, previous preps and other areas where I was just trying to or other times in my life where I was just trying to really dial things in and get lean. So I have a pretty good eye, especially for like protein and stuff like that. Obviously, certain other types of foods that are like multi-ingredient, it's a little harder to track those as far as like all the macronutrients inside. But as far as like main staple foods, it's relatively, I mean, you can eyeball it pretty well, especially if you've been doing it for a long time. That's kind of where I'm at this point. So definitely looking forward to the race tomorrow morning. Gonna try to get like super good rest and obviously smack as much as we can tomorrow. Really, my cardio's it's pretty in check right now. So definitely excited for that. But kind of after that, I'm really trying to get back on a legitimate powerlifting split, which is something that I haven't done in a long time. Even though I know I've kind of told you guys a couple weeks back that I'm really looking to improve my strength, I just have not had the opportunity with so much going on at work. A lot of changes happening. Obviously, many of you know the economy is kind of like taking a little shitter right now. A lot of layoffs, a lot of pressure, a lot of like extra workload on other individuals. So just kind of how the ebbs and flows of that kind of life goes. But other than that, moving, some life events, it's been difficult to like stick to a powerlifting regimen, considering I'm kind of like prepping for some other things, like I mentioned, like the race and et cetera, et cetera. But definitely, probably within the next week or two, I might go back on barbell medicine, but I might have to tone down the volume a little bit. Previously, when I did try it, it was way too much structural like stress on, especially on my CNS. It's not really for someone who's, I would say, like as advanced as I am when it comes to like heavy lifting. And like when your PRs are at a certain point, you can't just be doing like insane amount of volume and be natural. It's gonna be like snap city. Your CNS is gonna be smacked. Your strength's gonna be down. You're not getting the recovery you need. So that is something that I'm definitely gonna have to watch out for and kind of play it by ear. But definitely want to be on something a little more structured, a little more bracketed. And I'll probably do like a 3 day a week. And then the other 2 days I'll be doing like running, and I'll definitely have a entire day of just rest, maybe even 2 days. I might just stick with running once a week is what I'm thinking. Just judging on feel and how good I can recover. And we'll see how that kind of works out. But I am thinking that the 3 days I am going to be on my powerlifting split, I'll probably still do like a smidge of post just to keep my heart rate accelerated, get some nutrient delivery, a little more blood flow to the damaged tissues, and kind of help facilitate the recovery process of obviously lifting heavy. And so we'll see how that goes. But definitely looking to enter a local powerlifting meet at some point later this year, after I've gone through like at least 1 to 2 little training brackets and really dialed in my strength. I know that right now I'm not like, obviously I'm not peaked for strength, but I'm still decently strong. Like on any given day, probably could bust out like, I don't know, 315 for 5 paused, with like really good form. That's no wraps, no nothing, no wrist wraps, no elbow sleeves. And that's ass on the bench. And I'm probably doing like, let's see, for squats, my squat is not that great right now. I think I did like 455 or 485 for like a triple, but that was with wraps and a belt, and it just felt ungodly heavy. Like maybe 2 months back when I was like a smidge heavier, like 199, I hit 500 for a triple, but that also felt like I had 1,000 pounds on my back. So definitely my CNS is not like, it's not ready for that type of weight at this moment. Definitely have to work my way back up. And my deadlift is actually probably one of my better lifts right now. I can pull like 6 plates for like 5 or 6. I'm just way stronger of a deadlifter than any other lift at the moment, and that's mostly due to my biomechanics. I have super long arms, a small torso, long legs, so you can kind of see how that is a it's a really big advantage when it comes to deadlift, especially if you're doing conventional. I do not pull sumo ever, never, ever. I am a huge fan of conventional, and honestly, it's made my back like so strong, and it also had made my squat go up quite a bit. Obviously, you're strengthening a lot of the posterior chain, getting that really dense like lower back tissue from all the deadlifts, especially when your form's really good. And I do not deadlift with a belt. I've actually been transitioning to lifting pretty much everything raw as possible due to like I want to make sure that I can hit these lifts raw so that when I go to the platform, I can like push it a little more and kind of like leave it all in the platform. Like that's kind of like my strategy. I don't want to be like that type of person who their best lift is like their gym lift, you know, because obviously the conditions are going to be to your favor. You're going to be rested. You're going to be going at the pace you want to do. You're going to be like wrapped up, belted up, chalked up, wrist wraps, you know, just a squat. I don't want to be that type of lifter, right? I want to be conservative in the gym. I don't want to get hurt. I still want to push the limits. Like I'm not saying lift light, but I want to lift raw and push myself and know that I have the stability there to back it. And then when I actually go to compete, then I'll wrap up, strap up, and I'll be ready to freaking rock and roll. And I feel like that's kind of like a better mental strategy too, because you're so used to training raw. And obviously, I'm not like some people might say, oh, well, you want to get used to squatting with a belt so that when you squat in competition, you know, you're used to the feel and it's not too tight and it's not like psyching you out or but I mean, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, it's not like wearing knee sleeves is gonna like take off weight from your lift. Okay. If you're lifting raw all the time and you strap up or you wrap your knees or you use a belt, your lift is gonna go up. Trust me. It's like yes, there is some technique to like using like knee wraps or whatever with your form, but at the end of the day, it's not like it's going to take away from your lift, especially if you're really used to lifting raw. And I mean, at least for me, when I lift deadlift conventional, I do not like using a belt. It kind of pinches me a little too much, and it's just very uncomfortable, especially if you're using like a rigid, like a locking belt. I'm just personally not a fan. I know each his own, everyone's different, but I never really seen a huge benefit from using it. I would use it on squats from time to time, but definitely lifting raw is it just I think it's better in my opinion, just generally speaking. And it also strays away from like people ego lifting. Um, you know, yeah, it's just there's so much nuance there to it. And it depends on the lift and the lifter. But generally, that's kind of the strategy that I'm taking at the moment. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. But in the back of my mind, obviously, I'm still going to be really dialed with my diet and my sleep and et cetera, et cetera. I do still want to have like a crisp looking physique and I do want to stay competitive in powerlifting. So I can't like get like super fat and super soggy. I definitely have to keep up on my body fat percentage and make sure that my cardio is still dialed in, which I will be getting from my runs, etc. But I don't know, man. It's been a rough ride this year. I'm just pushing through, staying steady, keeping my head down, keeping a clear mental, and honestly, the mental side of it is it's almost more important than everything else. And that's one of the best things about like fitness or you know lifting, powerlifting, whatever, even sports in general, right? Like anything, any type of athletic activity where you're striving for improvement every day, every week, you know, even if it's a small amount, that's what keeps you going, man. There's something so valuable about that people overlook. And I think everybody should be doing at least something in their life to improve themselves, right? Super important. And I'll kind of leave you guys with that. If you guys have any questions, comments, drop it down below and stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon. Maybe I'll drop a quick video after the competition, kind of like give you guys a little check in, see how we placed. But looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you.